that I'm very sorry and I apologize for the inconvenience of me not giving up.
Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we're going to talk a little bit about leaks concerning the 8.0 update, but also the 8.1, because there are quite a lot of juicy things that are coming in the game mechanisms, etc. really soon. And first thing first, we're going to focus on the 8.0 update, because that's the first one that is going to drop, and it should hit the game this Wednesday, the 9th of June, and with it, some juicy Blitz birthday as always. Despite a brand new line being added in the 8.0 update, Wargaming decided to change a couple of factors concerning most of the tank in the game. For example, the Kampfpanzer 50 ton that is currently in test, a tier 10 E50M kind of premium one, has his rate of fire slightly increased. And this is something important because I did a video on that and the tank was kind of shitty on the battlefield. The AE phase 1 went from a premium to a collectible status, maybe because Wargaming intends in the future to nerf it, not buff it, because the tank is definitely broken. The penetration of the first gun of the T-54 is got his penetration increased from 175 to 180. The Pershing got some rate of fire increase, but I don't think it's going to be something really game-changing for the Pershing because that tank is not used by most of the players due to how hardcore it is to master it. T-44, same as the T-54 because both are sharing the same gun, but on the T-54 it's the stock one, the 100mm. T-54 Mod 1, little increased power boost. I don't know how it's going to render in game, but hey, at least maybe you're going to be able to be more agile and play with the rest of your mediums the same way intended for the T-44-100 that sees his engine power boosted as well. And for the last one, or the two last one, but the cost is totally logic because that tank is going to be implemented in the birthday event. But for the T-25/2, we have the rate of fire that is being increased. So nothing really game-changing for the moment. They also touched a little bit the Pershing on its armor profile and some other tanks' armor profile, but to be fair, I kind of don't care about those because they're not as interesting as it seems. Now guys, if you are really interested in something quite juicy about the game, I present to you the 8.1 update. I don't know yet what kind of tanks we're gonna get, but concerning the game mechanisms, Wargaming official branch from Russia, so a really trustful source, announced that they were working on an HUD, a better HUD for the penetration. What they mean by that is that they want to highlight all parts that are effectively penetrable, whereas in the past, for example, here in the 8.0 update or 7.9 update, as you can see, it seems like you can penetrate the whole tank or the whole weak spot on the Foch, whereas in fact, the only part you can penetrate is that small area right there. And they really want to make the HUD more precise for you to be sure when you shoot at something that appears penetrable that you penetrate. Is it a good or a bad idea? I think it's going to be a good idea for newbies, but a bad idea for pro players, because by doing this, you don't allow pro players to troll anymore, or even good players or people that are aware of their tank's abilities to be able to use them as they did before. Back in the days, a lot of people shoot here and here on the Foch that allowed you not to take any damage because this is counted as spaced armor, and people didn't know that, and at least it allowed the survivability to be increased. Now it's going to lower down, but hey, at least we'll have to change a little bit the playstyle and adapt to those new HUDs. Same for the IS-4, for example. If you want, from time to time, you have two plates, and I'm going to explain to you why we have this mechanism, why here it appears penetrable when it's not, and here it doesn't. Because here you have a double plate armor, which implies that you have the first one that on which the HUD is actually red, but you don't see it because it's covered by another plate, which makes you think that you can penetrate. But in fact, it's impossible. But at least Wargaming took into consideration that problem for us to solve it. And if you want, we can read this if you want, but the elimination of the armor will become more accurate for many tanks in situations where the armor is at an angle in regards to the aiming point. See screenshot from IS-4 and the V4202. So yeah, this is something really juicy for new players, and maybe it's gonna make some people less frustrated by their shots because at least they will not rage anymore thinking, hey, I shot at something the HUD told me I could penetrate and I didn't. No, here, if you penetrate or if you shoot here, yes, you will have a heat shell mark from something that penetrates, but you know you will not do any damage. So good job from Wargaming. For one time, really, really good job.